You're worthy of success, love, and abundance, my friend. Always have been, always will be. So treat yourself with the kindness and care you so freely give to others. Set boundaries that honor your worth and invest in your growth. For you are destined for all kinds of possibilities you can think of. Sometimes it's true, you will not experience everything you want, but you can definitely experience more of who you really are. And sometimes all it takes is to embrace what deep inside you crave the most, because it will take you onto an adventure where you will notice that all the gifts and talents and skills you would love to develop will create results you always wanted to see. So believe in your own deservingness and watch how the universe mirrors the belief back to you in interesting ways. I want to share today with you 6 principles to help you live in alignment with this kind of truth that I've shared with you. But when it comes to worthiness, sometimes we just need to recognize why we feel that we are not worthy. Because many times we can notice that we only feel unworthy because we compare ourselves with someone else whom we think that is better than us. But God or the universe haven't placed you here in a competition. You are not competing here. You're in a field of unique individuals, all shining in their own ways, and you just need to notice that you're part of the whole, and therefore you're here to shine your light, not to compete with others. Okay? Just print it into your heart right now. Notice that you don't need to do anything to feel worthy. You don't need to be anyone to feel worthy. And you don't need to say anything to be worthy. You already are worthy. So the question is only, what will you do with your worthiness or out of your worthiness? Because the act is different. The body posture is different. The feeling is different. When you know that abundance is already within you, it's not money, it's not anything else. It's your own sense of worthiness. Feeling worthy. Feeling abundant with life. You see, Mother Nature is giving you breath. The air that is circulating around us, it's Mother Nature giving you breath. What you give it back. Give it your light. Give it your gifts. Give it your talents. When you share something that will rejoice others, more people will share their lights with nature, with the universe. That's the law of exchange, right? Sometimes we don't see it when it comes to our own worthiness, but we recognize it starts with us feeling worthy, recognizing it's our own mental frame that doesn't allow us to see that we already are worthy, because we've been just taught differently. That's why reframing is so important. So embrace your inherent worth, my friend. Acknowledge that your worth is not tied to achievements, possessions, or others' opinions. Your worth is simply because you exist. Simple as that. You exist. Do you exist, my friend? Are you alive right now? Are you alive? Let me know. You breathe. You hear. You smell. You taste. You see. You exist, my friend. So you're worthy. This state of knowing creates a foundation of confidence and self-respect. Self-respect means respecting life. Respecting life because you are life. Alive, oh yes. So imagine you've just been maybe passed over for a promotion at your job, and you've started dwelling yourself into self-doubt, reminding yourself that you're not valuable, that you're not seen, that other people are more important than you or better than you. Just recognize this, because that's when you need to catch yourself and notice your worth doesn't depend on what happens to you or what's your position or someone else maybe won and you didn't. Notice it that maybe that opportunity just wasn't meant for you, and other paths to success will align with your worth. You see, sometimes we chase goals that have been projected onto us just because we want their validation, or we want their approval, or we want them to say to us, "Whoa man, whoa woman, you've done a great job." But hey, are you proud of your job? Are you proud of what kind of job you've done? Are you happy for how are you living your life? Because isn't you that should be validating you firstly, that should be approving your acts firstly, that should be proud of what you've done firstly? Isn't that you? Huh? I think it is. So you need to practice some of this self-kindness, to learn to be kind to yourself. This is one very important truth that you need to embrace. So embrace it right now, my friend. Treat yourself with the same love, patience, and forgiveness that you would offer to a dear friend. This includes speaking kindly to yourself and giving yourself grace during challenging moments. Because we all know how it is when we feel emotionally overwhelmed, right? Something happens and we experience this inner turmoil, and that's when the darkest aspect of us comes to the surface and starts blaming us for everything we've done, right? And it's okay, like, it happens. We're all going through this kind of, I call it purification, because sometimes we need to bring to the surface the darkest aspects of us, so then we can, acknowledge them and identify them and write them down and then think about them creatively, like what would be maybe a better approach towards this kind of turmoil that we experience here and there. So the question is always like, when a friend comes to you with an emotional turmoil, and let's say he or she broke up or he or she lost a job, what would you offer to this friend of yours? Would you blame them and be hard on them, like, you suck, you see, you're so stupid, and what are you doing here, like, what do you want from me? Or would you offer some love and some, like, let's talk about it, let's see it from a different perspective? Like, a kind friend is something we all need sometimes, but when we are alone, we miss it inside of ourselves, right? We don't find this kind friend that we need the most. So sometimes you need to become a kind friend to you and actually name this part of you that is having certain type of incredibly negative expression or outburst. Name this part of you, because now it's a programmed you. It's habitual you. A child that was born was not outraging emotionally, just playfully walking around, right? So this child is still inside of you, and that is the friend, the kind friend that must awaken once again and treat this habitual you with more compassion, with more love and patience, because reprogramming our habitual outbursts it takes time. It takes time. So my friend, if you make a mistake at work, instead of just beating yourself up, pause and reframe the situation. Say, for example, I'm human, I'm learning. That's what I say to myself. This mistake doesn't define me. What can I learn from it to grow? Sometimes, I used to be very hard on myself. Like, I've been quite a perfectionist, and when something didn't go the way I would like, I was very hard on myself, and I would be comparing myself with others. And it took me so much time, and I'm still a work in progress, I would say. Still, learning self-kindness, saying to myself, I'm human and I'm learning. I also say to you, God is not a state of perfection, so if you're striving to be God-like, God is a state of becoming. So to be more God-like, recognize that you are in a constant state of becoming, so you are not really defined. When you do something that you would describe as a mistake, you're not defined by the mistake. It means that you've tried. It means that you've learned something. It means that you've actually grown through it, which is a beautiful thing. So when you learn to reframe this, also when you don't have some type of guidance like you have right now in your ears, when you're living your day without any guidance in your ears, you notice that you need to be this guide for you. You need to guide you and teach yourself to reframe certain phrases you're using towards yourself when you're being hard on yourself. So speak to yourself the way you'd comfort a friend who's struggling. And then you also need to learn to honor your boundaries. Because sometimes when we are irritated, when we don't feel worthy, when we feel like our world is falling apart, we don't need more people that come to us, hey, you did that and you did this, right? We need to set boundaries. Sometimes you will notice that, as I said, self-respect means that you're really valuing yourself, you're respecting life that moves you. This is real self-worth. You notice you are alive. You respect yourself, therefore you don't want to invest this sacred life of yours into something that's not aligned with you, that's not aligned with your values, that's not aligned with your vision for life. That's why sometimes boundaries are really necessary. Say no when something doesn't align with your energy or value, like when something is not, aligned with your life's values. Or just your time, like you would like to invest more time into painting, but someone comes to you, hey, you need to answer these hundreds of emails, and you're like, well, today I will not, okay? Today I will not. I want to play a little bit with my life, like, otherwise, why am I here? So boundaries communicate your worth to both yourself and others, and this is respect. You will see other people will start respecting you, because sometimes, when people lack boundaries, other people start misusing them. They say, yeah, it's that guy that will always do everything, or it's that woman that always does everything. She never complains. She never says anything back. She just does everything. It's because you don't set boundaries, right? So if you find yourself, like in a position where a coworker frequently asks you to stay late or to help with their workload or whatever it is, just respectfully decline it. If it compromises your time for self-care or family, you can do it. You can do it. You might say, like, I'd love to help, but I've already committed my time elsewhere. And they will be like, whoa, yes, it's self-respect, my friend, family respect. Love that. So, very powerful thing you can do. And that's how you commit yourself to growth. Because you notice, people will actually accept that. Some will need a bit more time, but eventually they will accept it. I needed to learn that in my life as well. Like, I'm a very creative person by nature, and most of the time I just love creating. But, many people come to me and ask me for this and that, especially when we moved back into a more kind of a community neighborhood. There's, always something you could do for someone. So you need to set boundaries, and once people get used to it, they actually build some respect for you, and they ask you, hey, will you have time on that day at that time? And if not, I'm completely okay with it. And that's when you become very proud of yourself for being brave enough and respecting yourself, and you will start to feel more worthy. So that's how you commit to growth, because you will notice, well, there is a lot of more work to do and a lot of more fun to experience. So invest time, energy, and resources into your personal and professional development. You will notice there's so many paths you want to take, right? And that's when everything becomes so interesting, because when you start setting boundaries, you recognize you actually have time to do what you wanted to do, like signing up for a class that maybe excites you, or learn a skill you've been curious about, or if you've, I don't know, always dreamed of starting a side business that that would actually help you develop your skills and talents, or actually sell something you're passionate about. Start researching it, planning it, and take some actionable steps toward that dream. You will notice it's because you value yourself, you feel worthy, you've set some boundaries. Even if it's your family, even if it's your kids, they will understand. Look, everyone loves when people are happier because they're taking care of themselves. I just love people who feel better about themselves because they've started doing something that's good for them. I love spending more time with those kind of people, and I'm sure your kids or your parents or your partner will understand that eventually, because when they will see that you're actually growing, they will be happy for you. If people don't want you to grow, maybe those are not the right people to be surrounded with. So be aware of that. And another thing when it comes to worth is believe in your deservingness. I mentioned that at the beginning. Believe in your deservingness, because I know so many people who are envious about other people who have what they want to have, but they also believe they don't deserve it, like they haven't done enough work, or they just are coming from the background where people were judging this kind of people, like abundant or rich people or something like that. So you need to start, working on this mindset a little bit, to know that you've been placed here on this interesting planet not just to experience just certain things that would limit you. You're here to experience anything that is interesting to you. That's how soul is evolving the most. That's how you're moving through lessons that the soul is craving the most. So if you're really craving a certain type of a lifestyle, you need to trust that you're deserving this kind of a lifestyle, that you deserve all these good things, whatever it is. Some people just crave more love, more maybe abundance, or more joy. You need to see it as something that's possible for you, and then you can break it down into some actionable steps, like how to shape your life in a way that more abundance can be present in your life. But you need to start building abundance from the inner abundance, knowing, look, I'm alive, therefore I deserve to create a life for myself that will be joyful. And for that, you need to kind of form a vision that will see few years in front of you, that will see that maybe today you are not rich financially, but maybe next year you will also not be rich financially yet if you start working on something today. But if you really become passionate and dedicated to something that brings a lot of joy to you, that develops your skills and talents, then in the next 5 to 10 years you will become very abundant with it. And if you don't stop learning and doing everything we've been talking, like setting boundaries, feeling worthy, feeling deserving, you will make it happen. So if you're looking for maybe love but fear rejection, remind yourself that you deserve a partner who appreciates your unique qualities. When you believe you're worthy of love, you will be more likely to recognize and attract a partner who values and supports you. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, or if you don't believe that people who would love you exist, work on these beliefs. If you can't recognize them on your own, find a therapist or someone who will help you to to see them, to notice them, because it's only a belief system that you think you're not worthy of something. It's only a belief system. Sure, something else are results, like you have many results in your life that may be proving you're not worthy, but it's because your beliefs have been shaping your actions, your attitudes, and your emotionality that created results in your life that are now proofs for you. If you reshape them, reframe them, you will also start feeling differently and you will start behaving differently, and that will only create results in your future. So remember this. And the last reminder I want to give you is to learn to align with abundance. Something I mentioned at the beginning when I said to you that you're already worthy. You're already worthy and enough because you exist. This is real abundance. So when you really pay attention to what it means, like what it means, I exist so I am worthy. It means that in this present moment of your existence, there is a certain type of desire in your heart, in your sacred heart. This is the passion of Christ, right? When you notice that there's a heart desire, not mind's desire, but heart desire, that's how you align with abundance, when you start acting upon it. Like one day I've started feeling I need to start painting because I've just been inspired to paint what I've seen in my mind, like certain pictures and visions. My heart's desire was I want to start painting. When I've started painting, my heart's desire was there's a whole philosophy behind this painting. I want to share it with the world. So I've just followed this. Consistent following the heart's desires. You will notice heart is not so impulsive, like one day you will be doing this and the other day you will be doing that. Heart is very persistent. Mind is impulsive. So when you're in tune with your heart's desires, it will take you on a path of your soul. That's the power of your heart. So the universe reflects what you believe about yourself, my friend. When you align with your heart, when you align with your heart's desires, you will also notice that your self-belief, your self-esteem will increase. And that's when you will start radiating more confidence in your worth, more confidence in your doing. You will notice your skills are improving, you're getting better at it, and more confidence will grow with it, which means your energy becomes more magnetic, stronger, and you will start to feel more flow. So, my friend, if you're worried about money, but, constantly you're focused on scarcity, you might miss on all the opportunities that would open up if you would in tune with your heart. That's why it's important to learn to meditate, to learn to calm yourself down, to learn to center yourself. And notice that, just because right now you're lacking something, it doesn't mean that your whole life should be an experience of lack. It means that anytime you can change, and if you change the instant gratification for delayed gratification mindset, you will notice that in few years you can create 100% different life. So it must be built on the foundation of worthiness, on the foundation of knowing if you're alive, then it means that you can do something great with your life, something that you want to do, like not just whatever, but something that's really aligned with you. Start with small steps like side business or side project, but keep investing into it over and over and over and over again, until it grows like a tree into something you will be proud to see. And it rhymes. Beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed in today's message, my friend. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I also hope you've enjoyed in today's painting the alchemical process of transformation. This is a very special painting that shows this process of change. And on our site AttractPassion.com you can find the whole description under the print of this painting to see what it all means. So go and check it out, and my friends, I love you all. Thank you so much for your support. By purchasing my art, you're supporting this mission, and I truly appreciate you for that. So thank you so much, and till next time, one love.